talk about something that so many of us deal with, being completely buried in credit card debt. You know the feeling, right? Every single card is maxed out, and no matter what you try, that balance just will not budge. Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful and, kind of unconventional strategy that's designed to completely flip that script. So let me just ask you this straight up. What if you could totally wipe out a $15,000 credit card balance in a little over 2 years? I know, that probably sounds pretty ambitious, but the really wild part isn't just that you can do it, it's how you can do it. Because what if you could pull this off while living completely paycheck to paycheck? I'm talking about having absolutely $0 left over at the end of the month. Yeah, I know it sounds impossible, right? But it's not about how much you earn, it's all about strategy. So we are going to walk through step by step the story of how to turn that whole situation around. This is a strategy you probably haven't heard from your bank. So let's get into it. Okay, first things first, we have to understand the enemy here. And the enemy is what I call the minimum payment trap. And honestly, for a lot of people, it feels like a life sentence. Let's start with a situation that is, well, really common. Picture a take-home pay of $5,000 a month, and your expenses, exactly $5,000. Half of it goes to things you can't put on a card, like rents or your car payment. The other half goes to everything else, groceries, gas, you name it. And the result is what you see here, a zero-sum game. There is nothing left over. And here is where it gets really dangerous. If you've got a $15,000 debt and you're only making those minimum payments, you could end up paying a staggering $40,000 over 30 years. Think about that. You'd be paying $25,000 just in interest. That is the trap we are trying to escape. So here's the solution. The strategy we're going to break down is called velocity banking, and it is all about changing the way your money flows so it starts working for you, not against you. So what is it, really? At its core, this whole strategy is about using your credit card as a financial tool. Instead of it just being a way to spend money, it becomes the central hub for your cash flow. By funneling your income through the card, you keep the average daily balance way lower. And that's the secret sauce that slashes your interest charges and just turbocharges your debt repayment. All right, the first month is where this plan really kicks into gear. Now, I'm going to warn you, it's going to feel completely backwards, like really counterintuitive. But stick with me here because the math is absolutely solid. Okay, here's the game plan. Your $5,000 paycheck hits your account. First move, you immediately pay those $2,500 in bills that can't go on a card, rent, car payment, stuff like that. Now, here comes the wild part. You take every single penny that's left, that other $2,500, and you throw it all at your maxed out credit card. Then, for the rest of the month, you live off that card, but you only spend $1,900. Let's break down why this works. This is where the magic happens. That huge $2,500 payment you just made, it instantly satisfies the month's $600 minimum payment. So that frees up $600 of your cash flow that you would have had to spend anyway. So even after you put $1,900 of expenses back on the card, you've still managed to knock down your debt by a net of $600 in 1 month, all without earning a single extra dime. Oh, and there's a really nice bonus too. By making this huge payment before your statement date closes, you drastically lower your credit utilization. So instead of your report showing that you're 100% maxed out, it might show you're at 83%. And that gives your credit score a nice little bump month after month. So once you nail that first month, it's really all about just being consistent. This is where you really start to see the momentum build, and that debt just starts to melt away. You see, when you repeat this process, you create this incredible momentum. After just 6 months, your balance is already down over $4,000. A year in, you've paid off almost half the debt. By month 18, your utilization drops below that magic 30% threshold, which is going to give your score a major boost. And if you just keep going, in about 25 months, that entire $15,000 debt is just gone. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. This all sounds great in a perfect world, but what if life happens? What if the car breaks down? Or what if the bank sees that big payment, gets nervous, and slashes my credit limit? And you know what? Those are totally valid questions. Here's exactly how you handle them. First, as you pay down the card, that available credit you're freeing up, well, that becomes your new emergency fund. Your safety net literally gets bigger every single month. And second, to stop the bank from cutting your limit, you get out in front of it. You call them and you tell them, hey, I'm in a better spot financially and I plan on paying this debt down aggressively. This makes you look like a responsible customer, not a risk. So, what happens in the real world? Where most of us are juggling more than just one maxed out card. Well, the strategy is exactly the same, but the approach needs to be laser focused.
We're going to use what's called the debt snowball method. This just means you'll keep making the minimum payments on all your cards, but you focus all your extra debt crushing power, that big velocity banking payment, on the one card with the smallest balance. It doesn't matter what the interest rate is. The whole goal here is to get a quick psychological win to build that momentum.
So, if you look at this example, you would pour all of your effort into card one, the one with the smallest $3,000 balance. You'd pretty much ignore the two bigger cards for now, besides the minimums. And once card one is paid off, you take all the money you were throwing at it and roll that entire payment over to attack card two. It creates this unstoppable snowball effect. And here's a little advanced tactic for you. Once you pay off that first card, it's sitting there with a zero balance. What you can do is a balance transfer. You move a chunk of debt from a maxed out card over to the one you just paid off. Yeah, there might be a small fee, but this can instantly drop the utilization on your other cards from 100%, giving your credit score a really significant boost. So, as we wrap this up, what's the big takeaway here? This is about so much more than just a clever math trick. It's about fundamentally changing your entire relationship with debt and money. Let's just talk about the single most important number in this entire process. How much more money do you need to earn for this to work? Zero. Not a single dollar. This strategy isn't about getting a raise or finding a side hustle. It's about taking the money you already have and making it work smarter and harder. You see, in the end, this strategy doesn't require you to make more money. It just requires you to be intentional. It takes discipline for sure, but the feeling of empowerment you get from watching those balances shrink every single month is an incredible reward. You have the power to completely rewrite your financial story. The only question left is, are you ready to start?